It's a very profound question, and thank you for asking. I also worried about it how that pure entity entrapped itself and got jailed by its own creation. Well, when we first got separated from the source, just as there is a child is born to a mother, what happens as soon as the child is born? There is separation, and because of the separation, baby begins to cry. Similar thing happened when the soul was separated. Soul without body did not cry, but it had a certain level of consciousness. It felt, I am all alone. The fear started. And this fear is a common sanskar in all living humans or all living beings, be it a bird or a tiger or human. We all share one common sanskar, fear. And out of this fear and sense of individuality, ego developed. Fear and ego, it created a mass, one after the other. Desires crept in also to survive at any cost. It spoiled our consciousness eventually, and we got trapped. There is no way out of this trap that we have created ourselves. But slowly and slowly, as we understand that this fear is only an illusion, there is actually no separation between myself and God, and that's what we call realization. When I actually realize that we are one, then the question of fear does not arise at all. It is when the idea of separation comes, we develop greater fear. It happens in mundane life also. For a married woman, the biggest fear is, what if I am separated from my husband, either by death or by a divorce or by circumstances of like war and things like that. So separation of the past as well as the fear of separation in the future, they all create some sort of heaviness within us, and because of all this, we keep on creating more and more samskars. No one can escape the feelings or the reaction mode. Suppose you see a beautiful sari, you may purchase, you may not purchase. But the impression will remain that, oh, I like that sari and how wonderful it would be if I can buy that sari. It remains as a seed in your mind, something that you miss out, something that you keep wishing all the time, also creates some sort of complexities in your consciousness. Even things like, oh, this is a beautiful flower, I like to possess it, and you pluck it and take it home. I'm just giving you the innocent example of flower. It could be girlfriend, it could be boyfriend, it could be jewelry, it could be house, it could be car. But our constant reactions to our likes and dislikes, attraction and aversion, creates all kinds of samskars, whether we do it or not. So, regulation of thoughts, and as Lord Krishna says, create such a sthita pragya state through meditation so that you don't react to attraction and aversion. You are in yourself, well settled. So you will not form samskars. To me, whether the samskars which are formed, them samskars from the past, how they form, I'm not much worried about it. I'm only worried about how I may not form the future samskar. Whatever has happened in the past, I cannot change it. but I can be careful about my present. You see, recently we were invited by the top officer of Telangana state. He took us to one lake. That lake had a lot of problems related to cleanliness, clean water, and he recommended that how we can purify this water to an extent. At least it should not smell, it should become colorless, and if possible, it should become drinkable. But there are many citizens in that area who were saying that they used to come for swimming also in that. Okay, similar thing we do with our internal cleaning, no? We clean ourselves and try to get rid of some scars that we form on a daily basis. That is the purpose of our evening practice, that the accumulated grossness in the form of complexities and impurities we remove day after day. But the problem in that lake was not so simple. You can purify it, but what if that lake remains continuously, it continuously gets polluted all the time? Then you will be busy cleaning it all your life. It will remain dirty. Similarly, our inner consciousness. What is the point of cleaning it ad nauseum if parallelly you keep on creating more and more grossness, more and more karma phalas will have to be undergone, and there is no end to it. Even after 10,000 or infinite lives, on one side you keep cleaning, and on another side you keep on creating new and new, some more and more sanskars. So the solution to all this is forget the past. It's not in our hands. Whether God created it or you created it hardly matters now, since you already have this problem at hand. Don't create any more new sanskars. That is in your hand. When do you know your stomach is full? You know it. When do you know that you have finished one chapter and you know everything of that chapter? That also you know it. When do you know that my husband or my wife is having relationship with somebody else? It's very easy to know it. Why am I giving all these fanciful examples? Is to emphasize one thing, that nothing escapes our knowledge, nothing whatsoever. And a grand thing like soul and its state of liberation, how can it be escaped? You will definitely know it. Question comes when you don't have it. When I don't understand the state of my liberation, how can I understand the state of liberation of others? So let's not ask the question about somebody else's liberation. When you have attained it, I promise you, you will know it 100%. It is not about reaction of God actually. Love aspect, or even complaining aspect, or disliking God. It is not about how God will respond. It is all about how our heart melts in the whole process. That melting itself is a great response. Surrendering also. Do you think that when you surrender to God, as Lord Krishna says, Sarve dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. When we completely abide with Saranagati, do you think God will also match that Saranagati? He doesn't have to. Without His love, we would not have been even existing. So the question of responding from His side does not arise at all. It is how we respond to His already given love to us. How we melt our heart, how we take Saranagati. It is the act of Saranagati to the entire existence, not only to God, meaning total acceptance of whatsoever may happen in our life. Be grateful to God and say, "Thank you, my Lord. Thank you for having created the circumstances." Most of us, they crave for the happiness in the future. Nothing wrong with it. If you had some level of happiness or joy or luxury in the past, let us see if it was X. We always seem to expect incremental. X means sometime, oh, let it be 2x, let it be 3x, let it be 10x. But the wiser people have always reflected on the past. What has made them? If you really want to transform your life for good, see how you have changed in the past, what circumstances were there that prompted you to change your life, your lookout on life, and what you became out of those circumstances. That does not mean that we should pray for miseries and troubles, because they are the only thing that really makes us. But whatsoever come our way, take it and see how you thrive and how you mutate and how you transform your life around those circumstances without fighting. Fighting against a circumstance is never going to help us. In fact, if we fight, we'll keep fighting and not learn anything out of that circumstance. Observe, see what happens as a result of these new circumstances, which may not be so palatable. All these questions of transformation and God's response are around only this. If I love, how much love will I get in return from God? We are always transacting. We donate 10 rupees or 10,000 rupees or 10 crores, and we expect much greater. This transaction must be avoided because it only shows your greed and nothing else. In temples also, why do we throw money? We don't even give respectfully, we throw money in the temples. Do you think God needs your money, that murti you can do with that money or your ornaments or gold? Nothing whatsoever. But the very act of sharing all that money as well as your ornaments, do you think God will receive in the heavens or wherever He is? If He has a form, He will use it. He doesn't have a form. Who uses all the money that you give and ornaments you throw in temples? Think over it. So let's not have any transaction with our worshipable gods and goddesses. Best is to adore, revere, and make that divine life instead of moving towards such places. Make your life divine. Make your shariram, your body, as a tirtham for God. Then you don't have to run from one tirtha to another tirtha because you are yourself ennobled tirtham. try to create that within. And heartfulness practices are all geared towards purifying our entire system so that God can make a permanent abode in our heart. Thank you. How to love an invisible entity. Only answer that comes to my heart at this moment is before marriage, especially with girls, they have not even seen their husband. When they are 8 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, they have yet to see their husband. They don't know whom they're going to get married. Yet, they fall in love with the future husband. Even before seeing, they start entertaining. They make a doll and say, oh, this is my darling, this is my husband. They fantasize. So, having not seen God in a form, we begin with the known qualities related to God that we have heard so far. And we try to make it a reality by faking about it. They say in English, fake it till you make it. Artificially also, at bedtime, be very genuine about it, be authentic about it and say, God, I don't know you. Since I don't know you, I don't even know how to love you. But one thing for sure, I would like to know you. I would like to love you. And whatsoever experience you'd like to bestow upon me, I am prepared. And if possible, present such an attitude full of prayers and shed 2 or 3 tears from your eyes and say, God, I really, really like to feel your presence. And I would like to remain connected with your essence and see what happens.